everyone. It's Sunday once again. It's the last Sunday of February. And I can't believe it. It was like time flies, when you're having fun. I mean, we've had so many amazing drummers since the beginning of the year. And it's now just 1 minute till two. I mean, we started early again, but yeah, it's always good to start early. So it's now, I'd say 2 o'clock in the UK. It's 10 o'clock in Manila. Hope some of you are still up and watching us live. So yeah, welcome to another episode of Ask the Drummer. And today's guest, I actually got to see him play at Glasgow's Pop. Another sort like Glasgow's Pop drummer that too, because that festival is so amazing. I've met and I've seen so many awesome drummers during that time. So yeah, so I actually saw him on stage, but unfortunately I didn't get to meet him. I think it was somewhere else where I was all like looking around for all the musicians that I can have a photograph with. But anyways, he's so lovely. He's actually kind, even though I didn't get a chance to meet him, he's so kind that he sent me a drum skin, my first ever drum skin souvenir. So it was really so cool. But anyway, so my dear friends, please welcome Simon McInnes. Yay! How are you, Simon?
Yeah, not too bad. Quite nervous, really. But all
Oh no,
good.
don't be nervous. I am always nervous when sort of like doing this, but it'll be fine. And like I said,
Yeah.
earlier, my first ever drum skin souvenir.
Ah,
Thank
there it
you
is.
so much. Thank you. I mean, I get given drumsticks sometimes when I go to gigs, but I've never been given a drum skin before until you sent me one. So thank you
Well, there
very
you
much.
go. There you go. I mean, I've never had one. I've never had a drumstick. I've never had a drum head from any of the gigs I've ever been to. I think I got a bass collection.
Can you just ask? Was this the one that you brought to Glasgow Spot?
That is the one that did the gig, yeah.
Whoa, that's
Uh,
absolutely amazing. It was so good. How have you been since the last time I saw you play on stage?
Yeah, I mean, musically very quiet. I've got a radio show that I do, so that's been keeping my hand in doing something. But I've just been working in the shop and not really doing anything. I've been quite very quiet musically, which it is what it is. Some days you have busy days, and then you have
Yeah,
I'm not a fully professional musician, so it comes and goes. You know,
yeah,
I dip
yeah.
in and dip out.
Well, I'm sure you can tell me all about your drumming career and all the bands that you've been in and stuff, and the June Brides especially. But can you so what's you're in Devon? You said before we
Yes,
came on live. So what's the weather like in Devon? Is it warmer?
awful.
Oh,
um, uh, Slightly on the horizontal moist side at the minute.
oh. Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
flooding.
it got a bit mild here in Stockport like a few days ago, but now it's gone really cold again. Last night was just so cold though.
I think it teased us yesterday with a little bit of blue sky, but we're back to the wet stuff again.
But
It's
what?
just it's relentless at the moment. It's soul destroying. It's horrible.
Yeah, but at least I mean I always say this that British people they complain about the weather all the time, but we don't get
Yeah,
extreme weathers though. It's not like other parts of the world where it's either very very
no.
hot, or very
I
very
mean, it's
cold.
getting there. We're starting to
Yeah.
catch up. I think global warming's leveling it for everybody. We're all going to have extreme weather. But no, I mean, our issue is that because we get a little bit of everything, that's why we've always got cold things because we never get any climate. Second, you get warm to being burnt to a crisp, all of a sudden you've got to deal with fog and rain. And then as soon as you get used to being a duck, all of a sudden you can't go outside for fear of burning to death. So it's just up and down and up and down, and then out of nowhere you get a snowstorm, and
Yeah.
it's
Well, no, I always say I like it here because I've had enough sunshine to last me another lifetime. Because I was born in the Philippines, so it's always so
Right.
like
Okay.
hot.
Yeah.
Although they say that it's sometimes it's a bit. I think now it's a bit cold there, even though it's in February. But anyways, and then I
Yeah.
went to the Middle East, and again
Oh
the
yeah.
Middle
Yeah.
East, when I lived there, that's really hot. So at least
Yeah.
here, you get hot weather sometimes and then cold weather. But
I
anyways,
like it.
um, yeah, yeah, I like it as well. Well, Aiden said that sound and picture are very good. Aiden is my tech support, so it's always good
Oh,
when you say that. So, yeah,
I
but
worked hard, Aidan. I worked hard. It just took a lot of effort. Like one broken computer, several cables later, 3 panic attacks, and a new microphone. So this is where we're at. It's all for you, Aidan.
um, anyway, so welcome to Ask the Drummer, episode 115. It's all about you, Simon McInnes. So,
I
can you
apologize in advance.
oh can you tell us about a bit about your background? Like, where were you born?
Right, so
You,
I am, for my afflictions, I'm a Cornish boy. So I was born in Cornwall and
oh,
went to school in Falmouth. So grew up by the seaside, really. Spent my whole young teenage years sort of like in Falmouth by the seaside, just
yeah.
going to school and generally trying to exist in that sort of thing. I mean, I didn't really like the beach, which is not ideal. I couldn't swim. It was
No,
just,
I'm not a beach girl. I'm not a beach person myself.
no.
Yeah,
I'm not very academic, so I wasn't enjoying school or anything like that. So there was a lot of just walking around and adventuring, which eventually led on to trying to do some music. You know, I did try piano first because I thought, and I was getting there. I got all the way to grade 2, which is not bad.
okay.
But because I was having to have my piano lessons in lunchtime at school, so I wasn't getting my lunch. So at that point in time, for some reason, I just valued food over music. So I ate, much to the disappointment and the expense of my dad.
Um,
And he bought me a guitar. So I bought an acoustic guitar and a book. Um, that again didn't go well because even though it was music and it was a practical application, which I kind of enjoyed, it was a book. And so it was therefore academic and I couldn't get on with it. So I just ended up going down to the music room at the end of later on in school. So like when I was like 13, 14, I just ended up going down to the music room at the end of the day when everyone had gone home and just going, oh, drum kit, dum dum. All right, this looks fun. How does this
oh,
work? And just had to go at that. And I was just did that for a couple of days, and then another kid came in and went, "Oh, do you want to be in the band?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know how to play." He went, "That's all right. I don't know how to sing. Let's do it." And we did a band and we did a concert in the school. And I should imagine it was awful. I should imagine that no way around it. I should imagine it was absolutely awful. I think I kept time. I did hit the right drums in the right order. I think I couldn't do anything else. And there was us. Norman was singing, and there was a girl on keyboard, a guy on bass, and
yeah.
I think it was another drummer that kind of switched in, and we were just having a almost like I don't know. We were just messing around on stage for 3 hours, and we'd sold tickets. No, it wasn't 3 hours. It must have been half an hour. I should imagine it was really short because we were terrible. But that was it. That was my experience in music. It's like, okay, so I can't do that. I can't do that. I can do this. And I
Yeah.
played in front of some people, albeit just a few traumatized parents. But
Okay, but did you have sort of like proper drumming lessons, or did you just
no,
sort?
no, I've never had lessons. No, unfortunately, I've gained a lot by teaching myself because I've avoided the academic black hole which would have scared me away. I am dyslexic a bit, I should imagine, and there's other things that probably make studying very difficult. But the
Yeah,
practical application of listening to a song and going, okay, and then having a go, I'm not too bad with. It is low level. I can't just listen to a Rush album and then sit down and just, there you go, done. We're talking, 4/4 time, nice and simple, AC/DC sort of level, no problem. And, my influences were like Dire Straits and things like that when I started. So
Oh,
I was brought up on Talking Heads, Pink Floyd, UB40,
yeah,
Bob Marley, so all that sort of ilk. So I was really into sort of like low level but interesting drumming. And I
yeah.
just did that for ages. And my dad bought me a drum kit and it worked out and I just stuck with it. Um,
Well, are you from a musical family? Any of members
Not
of
at
your family
all.
like it? No? No?
Not at all. No, my dad's from the Gorbals of Glasgow. And, he was a shipyard man and then he worked in printing presses and then he went off and became a pharmacist and then did loads
Oh,
of other sort of engineering and then moved right up to sort of like what's it well, working in offices and fixing companies that were going under and stuff like that and became sort of like quite high up doing stuff like that. So
yeah,
no, he was totally different and my mum was she wanted to be a hippie and just kind of just hang out and just do things and she wasn't very well, so she struggled and she didn't do anything either. My sister, nothing.
yeah,
So yeah, I think I'm the first actually in whatever recent family to be
yeah.
anything musical at all.
But
um
they're very supportive though. I mean, your dad bought you a drum kit.
yeah, my dad's always supported me in everything I've done, always, and
Yeah,
it was really good because the Glasgow concert that you've seen us at, that was I'd literally stayed with him for several days before because that was almost the only reason I could manage to get up there and do it was because I had somewhere to stay, see him, and then nip up to Glasgow, do the gig, and then come all the way back down to Devon again. Otherwise,
yeah,
it would have been a bit of a nightmare. But no, it was really good, and he got to hear about it and see about it, and it was really nice. I mean, he's not with us now anymore, but it was a really
oh,
nice memory to end on. It was like it's quite near the end of his life, and it was good to have got it in there, and that it's finally paid off all those years of me doing music. Here we go. I've got a big gig. It's happening. Nice band. Everything's fantastic. They go, look, I'm almost famous. It's fantastic, and he loved it, and he thought it was great. So
oh,
it's absolutely brilliant that it all fell into place the way it did, everything at
yeah,
the right time. So yeah, no, it was great.
yeah. Well, sorry to hear that he's not here now, but yeah, but so it's thanks to your dad that that
Oh yeah,
you
definitely his support
now.
as well, because he could have said, "Look, you've messed the piano up. I've spent 50 quid on the guitar. You can jog on. You're not."
Yeah, yeah.
Why should I? I mean, the drum kit was 250 English pounds in 1984, 1985.
It's a lot of
So
money.
you look at it's got to be about £500 at least in today's money, 600 pounds, which
Yeah.
that's a lot considering your kids just trashed 2 music lessons.
I'm
But it
gonna
worked.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm gonna ask you, Cornwall. Do you eat a lot of these pasties? Cornish pasty? Because that's what Cornwall is
Oh,
famous for, isn't
so here's the thing: families do what they do, yada yada yada. I had to leave Cornwall. My parents split up, and I moved eventually to go and live with my dad when he'd moved to Newcastle, which is
it?
why I ended up going to Glasgow.
Yeah.
Um, but then I ended up moving up and living with him after several years. He left when I was 7. I moved up when I was 16. So I was a 16-year-old Cornish boy moving to Newcastle upon Tyne, which the cultural differences between those two ends of the country are immense. And yes, to your first question, I did eat a lot of pasties, and my gran, God rest her soul, made pasties that were so large they'd fall off each side of a laptop. They were that large. They were so long. Sorry, and it was just the floor you for 2 days. Um, but no, it was fantastic. But moving to Newcastle, I talked with a very, very thick Cornish accent. I talked very slow and talked like, unfortunately, the stereotype is uneducated. I can say that because I'm Cornish. It's not true, but you do sound a little bit like you've just got up. And in Newcastle, they speak 200 miles an hour. It's incredibly fast with Geordie accent. And I first got there and worked in industrial kitchens. So I was there with like these really hectic, hardcore chefs coming up going, why I do, go and do this and different about anyway, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, going, what? And they go, what's wrong with you? You know, do you not understand what we're saying? It's like, no, I really don't. And they're like, God, where do you come from? And I said, Cornwall. And they're like, oh, Cornwall a big town then, is it? And I'm like, yes, it's huge. Where is it? And it's down south. And they go, what, Manchester? You go, no, keep going. Stop when you get
Keep
wet.
going, yeah, keep going.
It's that little bit before New York. So yeah, and the punchline is that my nickname, once they found out where I was from, was Pasty. So for the years that I lived in Newcastle, my nickname was Pasty. So yes, I do eat them, and I literally live the curse.
That's all. Like now I know because later on in the show I'm gonna ask you about what else do you do apart from drumming, and I
Yeah,
think one of that is because you're known as Simon Pasty. So
Pasty. That's it.
yeah, I will ask you about that later on. But so we'll talk about your drumming career first. So before the June Brides, what other bands or so? Like, so you were in a school band,
Yeah, right. So
and then
I wasn't quite good enough to be in the actual school band. We were kind of like an off the cuff, it gets us out of lessons, let's just form a band and play some music type of thing. So we did that. That was very short lived. And once I left school, that died immediately. We only ever did the one concert. I had some friends in Falmouth that played guitar, but at that point I wasn't quite proficient enough on the drums to do anything with them because they were into things like Metallica and stuff like that. And I was
oh,
still listening to Bob Marley and Pink Floyd and was like, what's this noise? This is this is hardcore. And then I literally transitioned. I went up to Newcastle and then grouped with a lot more people that were listening to heavy metal and rock. And I just got more and more into it. And I think it was the Justice for All album from Metallica where I just went, oh, okay, right. So this is what drumming's about. Okay, right. I need more drums, and just got into doing that. And went and bought myself the cheapest of cheapest double bass drum pedals, which did not last very long at all with my terrible playing technique and its incredibly cheap alloy. Um, and then started looking for things to do and ended up joining a band that was covering things like Guns N' Roses and Bon Jovi, and so that was all fun, and I started honing my technique on things. But it was always cover bands. It was always pub bands and cover bands. I think I joined one band at the end of my Newcastle stint. But we had promise. We were doing good. We had some covers, but we had some of our own stuff. We were a little bit Manic Street Preachers. Sorry, Phil. And Pearl Jam sort of mix. And
yeah.
that was going. The singer was good. The guitarists were good. It was all good. But then band politics erupted its ugly head, and the whole thing died a death, as it
What's the
happens.
name? What's the name of the band?
The band was called Frog.
Ribbit, ribbit.
Exactly. Nothing to do with any of the songs. I mean, some of the covers we did sort of like rocky versions of "Does Your Mother Know" by ABBA, for instance. And then
Oh,
just like if you imagine sort of like Pearl Jam, Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains sort of music, it was along those lines, and it was really good. But yeah, one thing led to
yeah,
another, whatever, and it ended. There was nothing else in Newcastle. I moved back down to Devon. I was in a band with a guitarist local to where I was living, and we did come up with a name, and we were called the Senses for a while. Again, it was cover bands, and we were going to pubs, and it was fun.
yeah.
That went off to things like your classic 70s rock theme. You know, we were doing like Free and what else did we
Slay.
play? Yeah, Slay, Thin Lizzy, all that sort of.
Yeah.
Um, and that was fun for a while, but we didn't really do anything else. The annoying thing with that band is we had a really good singer. He was really good at singing. He built a website for the band, fantastic. He even got us all fleece jackets with our names on it, also fantastic. But didn't learn the words to the song. so
Oh
you so you would turn up at this concert, this gig, whatever, this pub. Hello, we're professional. Yes, look at us. We know what we're doing. And then bang, music stand right in the middle of the room. And it's like, what are you doing? We've learned all this. We've done all this. Why you're still reading? It's a karaoke night. It's not a band. What are you doing? Now I
no.
understand when you're a big celebrity, whatever, you're playing Wembley and you've got like a set list from 5 different albums and the pressure's huge and you cannot make a mistake. You've got a monitor hidden in the stage with your words going up on it. That's
Yeah.
absolutely fine. But you still made the effort up until that point. But to just rock up and whip out the old Tesco's binder and whack it on the thing there with your A4 paper and flick between pages through verses, it just looks horrendous. And yeah, so that died because it's like I haven't, come on.
Just memorize the words.
It's not that hard. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. I'm a drummer. I do what I do to my level. The best thing I did join another Devon band that had their own album, and I kind of want to give them a shout out because, to their credit, I think the album was really good. They're called the Retro Trade, and yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it seemed like they were going places, and
Yeah.
I joined them with plans on doing a second album, and that was working out. We were going to go play places, and then they got a bit. Maybe we all got a little bit bored and we wanted to start just playing out. So we played covers as well as the first album. And then they
Oh,
decided they wanted to be a Pink Floyd tribute act, which, it's, I mean, the musicians were there, the talent was there, the guitarist, the bass player, the singer, it was all there. We could do it.
yeah.
Um, but it was like, why would you? You've got your own stuff, which is very good. Why would you want to do something that other people are already doing incredibly well? Why would you want to just jump on that? It's silly.
But don't you think it's because tribute bands nowadays they actually so like fill
Yeah, they do.
venues and stuff?
They
It's
do. I mean, you wouldn't be competing. You wouldn't be competing with Pink Floyd. You wouldn't be.
yeah,
You'd be competing with Australian Pink Floyd or
yeah,
Benwell Floyd or other Floyd bands who are very, very good that tour and charge lots for tickets and fill arenas.
yeah.
It's like it's like you're becoming a tribute act of a tribute act of a band,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's like it's a bit sad. I don't know. I hope I haven't offended anybody that's doing
Yeah,
that. I mean, if you want to play other people's music, that's brilliant. I like doing it, and I have done it all my career. But if you're
yeah.
going to take it seriously, I think you got to be careful.
Well,
Um,
yeah. You mentioned Pearl Jam before because the kind of
yes,
music that they were doing in Newcastle. What do you think of their so like current? There's the news about Pearl Jam doing a tour. I think this year, but the prices are just so like incredible.
well, I mean, this is the thing because I mean, the one thing about Pearl Jam is if you typed Pearl Jam into Google, the next word would be Ticketmaster.
Oh, yeah.
I
That's
mean, the one thing I do remember from the early 90s, mid 90s was Eddie Vedder going quite mental about the price of Ticketmaster charging for their gigs. They were like, we want people to come pay $30 and watch us play, not $130. You know, I can't remember it word for word, but yeah, I should have written. But now, if the way of the world, Pearl Jam are now charging $130, $160, whatever.
I
Yeah,
know.
it's nuts. I mean, I think anything over $100 is or £100 is that's
That's
ah
too much, isn't it? Even no matter how much you love a band,
yeah.
it's
I mean, it's like $150. That includes the room for the night. Yeah, no, what? You're not even throwing in the bus. I got to get there myself.
I always say, or a dinner with the lead singer or something like.
Is it? Oh, it's a meet and greet. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nuts.
So,
I mean, from the other side, the amount it costs for, like, I mean, when we would went up to do Glasgow, the amount it actually cost for the band members to get up there is quite a lot. But
Yeah, yeah, so
when you're
yeah,
talking Pearl Jam, sort of like these guys, all this A-list celebrity, well-established bands levels, they don't have to worry about the cost of getting to places or anything like that. So any ticket price is a benefit as long as they cover the rent of the arena and whatever the licenses and the insurances and the wages of the staff are. Then yeah, you want some money. But the record
yeah,
industry, whatever it is, I don't know. It's very confusing. So you've got ticket sales, which and tickets master and all these companies. How much money do the bands get out of the tickets? I don't know. It's terrible. And then you got the record companies. So how much money do the bands get off the record companies? So they need the
yeah,
ticket sales
yeah,
because they don't get that. Yeah, it's
yeah,
kind of nice being down here and not actually being up in all of that. Because it's like you just walk to the bar at the end of the night and go, "Where's my 60 pounds?" And go home.
and go. That's right. Oh, so you're in Devon and
Yes,
you're doing all these sort of like you're in different bands and doing covers and
yeah.
stuff. But so what I wanted to ask, is how did you get involved with the June Brides?
Well, yeah. I mean, this is the story. This is just so good. It's amazing what you can pick up in a charity shop these days. I picked up the full band. So, I mean, I work in a charity shop in Devon, and Phil frequents this charity shop and has done for a long time, long before I got there. But I took over the management running of it. And he popped in and introduced himself. And, I'm quite a chatty guy, and Phil's really, really lovely. And it just came out that we were musicians and this, that, and the other. And I'm assuming he must have been getting a little bit bored or whatever and wanted to just do a little bit of playing. So we started the idea of just having a little jolly up the road, just a rehearsal, not really for any reason, just me, him, and a local lad called Johnny on bass, and was just see where it went. Maybe we'd do a little three-piece gig somewhere. We was just having fun. We just wanted to play,
Yeah, yeah.
and then one practice, Phil turned around and says, "Oh, uh, so traveling quite far, then would you like to maybe play Glasgow?" And I'm like, what us? He said, no, 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 the band, the full band, the June Brides. And I was like, what? You want me to play with the June Brides in Glasgow? He said, yeah. For reasons their previous drummer couldn't make it. So they didn't want to miss the opportunity. It was going to be sort of like a big thing for them. They were just going to say, look, we haven't gigged for ages. We don't know what the gigging will be like in the future. So let's do this one thing, because I think Phil was friendly with the organisers and everything. It's like, yeah, this is going to be a good thing. Let's do this. Would you like to do it? So I was, yeah, okay, let's do this. So let's learn a few songs down in Devon with you, me,
Yeah.
and Arash, the Junie's bass player. So we knocked a few out down here, and then we went to Glasgow, or I met them in Glasgow after a few days. The day of the gig, I met the rest of the band at a
No way.
rehearsal room, and we rehearsed the set. And then 4 hours later, we went on stage and played the gig.
No way. Oh my oh my
So it's like, yeah, hi, yeah, I'm in the band, I think. Like, got to the door, it's like, yeah, you get these wristbands, and this is the green room, and then like drinks, and I'm like, what's this then? This is new.
But so
I was queuing at
yeah.
the bar, and they went, don't know, you go in there, and I'm like, do I?
So Mel Wilson just he just comes to the shop, the charity
Yeah,
shop that you're managing
yes.
at the moment. And then but did you already know? Did you
No,
recognize him as the
no,
Jim
no. I
Bride?
mean, this is where I look absolutely terrible here, because I the June Brides never came up in my listening catalogue as I was growing up. I did live in a house with a lodger who was quite into indie music, and he was really into the Wedding Present and
Yeah,
Ride
yeah,
and people like that. But it never. I think because at the same time I was literally discovering Metallica and things like that. It's obviously two ends of the scale, and you can't really get into
Yeah.
both at the same time. You know that there's a journey between the two. You can't just go rah and la. You know you're on a road somewhere. You can't just stop off somewhere for some Morrissey and flowers while you're in between. Um, so yeah, I missed them, and uh, Phil introduced me to the music. I listened to it. I liked it. I enjoyed playing the songs, and it's like let's do this. It'd be fun, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And yeah, it was the best gig I've ever done in my life. It was the best opportunity I've ever had in my life. The June
Yeah.
Brides are the most wonderful people ever, and I just cannot thank Phil enough for inviting me on the journey because it was just wonderful. It was
That is just so
so
like
wonderful.
amazing. Cause so what did they do? Did they just sort of like send you their music? They just send you a tape and then you learned it or something? Cause
Yeah, Phil gave me MP3s of the songs that we were going to play, and
yeah.
we had sort of like 4 or 5 days of practice down here every other weekend with the three of us, me,
Oh,
Phil, and Arash. And then when we got up there, we went, okay, so yeah, we're going to practice the set. This is the set, and this is the drummer. Go. And we just played it through. I think we did a couple of songs twice, but on the whole, we just played a handful of them through, and was like, yeah, this that'll do.
yeah, yeah.
You
Because
know,
I think they've had several drummers since they sort of like,
yeah, yeah, they've
started.
had quite a few, and yeah, some names as well. So I've
Yeah.
filled a few shoes. I'm very proud to have done what I've done. I hope I did any of the original writers of the drum program tracks credit. I hope I didn't destroy anything, and I hope it was a. It seemed like it was a good concert. People seemed to enjoy it,
It was
and
amazing. It was really, really good. But do you think you put in a bit of rock to this? So
oh
like it's sort
yeah,
of like
I
a bit of
mean
Metallica in there.
there was. I should imagine unconsciously there was definitely some because that's what I grew up on, and that's how I learned to play the drums. So
Yeah.
you can spot a jazz drummer a mile off. You can spot a rock drummer miles off. It's so yeah, and I taught myself simplistically, so there was a lot of that. I think consciously towards the end, yeah, we'll throw a bit in because why not? We're not going to do it again. Let's do
No, I mean
this.
I remember it's sort of like because with your long hair, with all these songs, like, and I was all like thinking, oh
Long
wow.
hair, tattoos. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big gruff sort of like sweaty matler. I mean, I still love lighter music. I do. And my radio show isn't even rock. My radio show is techno. So
Oh
that's
right.
totally different again. So yeah, no, I do like a lot. The only thing I struggle with country and western.
Oh
I
yeah.
just
Oh yeah.
you know
Same with me. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, I called my. That's all my dad listened to. I called him out on it. I said, "You're narrow-minded, Dad. This is just miserable." He says, "No." He says, "I like all music, Simon." He says, "I like country and western." It's like, oh God! It's like if somebody else's horse dies or runs away with someone's wife.
So
I mean,
have the June Brides converted you into indie? So you like indie music
yeah,
now?
definitely. I mean, there wasn't necessarily any conversion needed because I did like some indie stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm definitely well on board with June Bride stuff. I like it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and I would play more.
Yeah. So what's any news about? I mean, I know that Phil Wilson is very active on Facebook, and if we,
Yeah,
you know, if there's any sort of like gigs coming up, then he will post about it. But
yeah.
any sort of like secret thing that he's told you that
Oh,
we don't know?
I could disclose the various shopping habits of Mr. Wilson in my shop and which records he purchases. Um, but as for June Bride's secret scoops, no, I'm not. I have nothing. Phil would be the first to know what he wants to do if he wants to do anything, whether it be
Yeah,
June Brides or whether it be Phil Wilson or whether it be anything. He might want to do something and not involve me, which would also be, just whatever. Phil is Phil, so it's up to
well, I
him what
hope
he
there'll
wants
be
to do.
more. I hope there'll be more of the June Brides
It would
gigs.
be nice.
Yeah, it would be really good. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's a big thing. I mean, to get everybody that far up the country, if we were going to do, Glasgow or, I mean, London wouldn't be too bad. But yeah, I don't know what the horizon is for everybody. I don't know what the other members are up to. I don't know, how
yeah.
they're feeling. So it was just for me to be given the opportunity to have been there and done that and met people like yourself and other people who have just gone, wow, that was really good, and treated me as if I was already there as one of the people. I do want to give out a little shout out to Sean from Jetstream Pony Stroke
Sean
Wedding
Farmer.
Present.
Oh yes, yeah,
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 because this is the embarrassing thing. When we were rehearsing for the gig in Glasgow, just we'd finished, I went outside and Phil or something about it let slip that Sean was the drummer from the wedding present was in Jetstream Pony. And I was
yeah.
like, well, this is a thing because when I was growing up in Cornwall, I would listen to John Peel every night on the radio. And John Peel was just like obsessed with the wedding present and would play them all the time. And so it was there. There was just constantly as a childhood memory. So I went up and went, oh, which one of you guys is the drummer? Of course, not Sean.
No,
I'm really sorry, so embarrassed. And then Sean put his hand up when, yeah, it's me. I was like, oh, God. So said hello and then walked away, terribly embarrassed. But at the end of the Glasgow gig, Sean actually came to the green room and found me and just put his hand out and went, oh, that was really good, mate. Nice one. And to me, that was brilliant. That was just perfect. A drummer
yeah.
coming up to me and saying that I'd done well was just that's it. Now I can draw a line under everything. I've done it. My dad's bought me a drum kit. I've learned to play something. I've got to a big gig. Played in my dad's home city in front of some people who really enjoyed it, and some good things have come from it. That's perfect.
Oh,
That'll do.
I'm sure it will happen again soon with
Oh,
Phil Wilson. So, like, if he's gonna do the June Brides gig, but talking about Sean Charman, it's
yeah,
also that Glasgow's pop event that I found out that he's the drummer. Because I didn't know he was a drummer until then. Because I've
yeah,
seen Jetstream Pony quite a few times, and I never, I never knew that he was actually the drummer of the wedding present. So I did ask him to come and ask the drummer when I realized that it's actually, and the pop guns as well. So it's a wedding present and the pop guns after. So
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
It's great, and uh, yeah, I mean, just this whole little bubble of everything. I mean, being on here is like looking back through your past guests and going, this is going to be so crazy because, like, a month, 2 months down the line, you go to your YouTube page and they'll be like, oh yes, there we go, oh that person, that person. There's little old me right in the middle of it, and it's like,
oh,
oh. It's like, why am I there?
oh.
You
Well,
know?
going back to Phil Wilson, another thing that I
Yeah,
actually noticed from his Facebook posts is he likes going for mushrooms. I mean, he goes to. Have you
yes.
ever? Have you ever sort of like gone with him to sort of like?
I haven't. No, I mean, because I live in the other place. When I finish work, I tend to like to just go home, and he tends to go weekends and things. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's nice places. I believe there's a few people I know, Phil, and a few chefs that go up, and there's some quite good, nice wild mushrooms to be had. in and around the local area. However, anybody watching, do not go picking mushrooms unless you know exactly what you're doing. Not a good thing to do. Phil is very experienced. Phil is very experienced and knows what he's doing. We don't want any more accidental fungus deaths on our hands.
That's actually so. That's why I said to my husband, because after seeing Phil Wilson's post about mushrooms, I said to my husband, "Can we go to the woods and just pick up mushrooms?"
Yeah, yeah.
And he said, "No,
No.
no,
No, no. Some are really nice, some will kill you, and some will really, really make a mess of your day.
well, right. Well, I know this. So we've talked about the June brides, but
Yes.
when you're not drumming, because I did sort of like look you up on Google, and
All right, God, what did you find?
but no, it was sort of like the only one that I actually sort of like found out is you have your own YouTube channel,
Yes,
and this is
yes,
where I found out that your name is Simon Pasty. On this,
yes,
no, your YouTube channel. There's a bit of drumming videos on there, but
yeah,
mainly, I mean, this. I think Aiden is gonna love this. Your YouTube channel is mainly about model railway.
yes, yes. That was my
So,
little foray into the world of influencers. So I did the old man in a shed routine.
can you tell us more about this? Because it looks amazing. I mean, is this
Well,
sort of like
yeah.
building it up into like how big is it now?
The one that's on the go at the moment is 12 feet by 12 feet. It basically fills a room. Um, Again, I got into that. My dad got me some trains when I was small, and I lost interest growing up and moving around the country doing things, music, growing up, night clubbing. Model trains don't fit into that. But then someone came knocking on my door and was like, "Oh man, I've got a box of trains. I need some money. Do you want to buy them?" And I was like, "Oh, go on then." So I bought some trains, and it sparked an interest. And then one thing led to another, and I started building them again and getting into it. And
Yeah,
then when I found myself at the where I am now, living here in Devon, I've had the freedom to really go to town on it. So then I started building properly and started doing videos. Yeah, I mean, there was, I suppose, a 25-year gap, but maybe 30-year gap. But now I'm really into it again. Since I suppose, the last year, COVID was very strange because COVID gave me the freedom to do as much model making as I wanted, but I couldn't because it just felt wrong. It was like, I don't know if anybody else got this, but it was like, I, I feel uncomfortable having fun while everything is
oh,
burning. And it was like, I'm not off work sick. I'm not skiving off. I'm not saying I'm ill when I'm not. I'm legitimately allowed to be here and do this, but I can't get into it. I can't enjoy myself. I feel that something's wrong. So again, it paused. And as you can see with the videos, some of them were like once a week, once a week, once a month,
yeah.
and then it went annually. It's like once a year. And I think my last one says, I promise I'm going to do more than one video this year, and then never did. Um, General life is kind of got in the way a little bit because the good thing about model railways is you can really settle in. It's like anything. It's the same as drumming, I think, is it activates. It's kind of like meditating. I
Yeah, yeah.
can't put on a mindfulness CD and listen to some whales talking to each other and relax. That doesn't work. When they say close your eyes and empty your mind, it's like, have you seen my mind? It's like a car boot sale of disaster. It's like, it doesn't happen. Think of a happy place. No, it's too noisy. So I do noisy meditation. So I will play drums and I can be in a meditative state, sat behind the drum kit, trying my best to play something by Tool or something, or in my train room playing with little model trains, painting, building little trees and bushes and things with some music on in the background. That's
But
fine.
where do you find pieces for your
Um,
model?
I'm I'm a poor boy, and model railways is ridiculously expensive. So I do everything on either eBay or car boot sales, or just get by myself. As far as like wood and stuff, I just use scrap wood and all that sort of fine, and then try and reuse as much as possible. So anything I did years ago, oh sorry, hitting the microphone again. Anything I did years ago, just try and redo that, and that because it's stupid money. They've been in the news at the moment because of the expense of things. Hatton's has gone under. Worley's not going on anymore. You can't afford a week's wages for a model train. I'm not going to put it on the shelf and ignore it. I'm going to take out a box and play with it. But I can't afford to bin a whole week's wages on one toy. So, I go second hand, go eBay, fix it if you can, and just have fun. But it's really good for mental health. But at the moment, it's too hectic.
Well, I don't know if you've seen it, but the one thing that came to mind is I think Rod Stewart's got the
Yes,
biggest sort of like
Rod Stewart's got a
model.
massive one. And also,
Yeah.
Neil Young has not only got a
Oh,
model
Neil
railway, he
Young.
bought a model railway company. So he actually owns, I think it's Lionel. So yeah,
Oh
he's got
wow.
his own model railway company, and it's a little bit pop for Phil, but Pete Waterman has also got
Oh wow.
enormous amounts of money. He did own the Flying Scotsman at one point, but he sold it.
Oh. So it is, yeah, it is big money. So like
oh,
hobby.
oh,
Just,
I mean,
it's
the
not
Flying
just sort of
Scotsman
like
alone is just to have it sitting in a shed costs you over 2 million a year because just to service
oh
it costs you over. It's like yeah,
wow.
not worry about that.
Well, anyways, anyone who's really into model railway, I'm gonna put the link to your
Do
video
it.
YouTube channel
Yeah,
because yeah,
some
it's
of them
just
are better than
really
others.
interesting. Yeah. And also, your latest YouTube is Minecraft, and that this is
oh
so.
God, yeah. Okay, we're going to talk about that. Yeah,
Is
let's
this
go.
a
Yes,
new thing for
yeah.
you?
It's. I mean, again, that's a really good thing. I mean, I like playing Minecraft. It's really relaxing, and we're playing with a really nice group of people at the moment, and that's really nice because you play online, so it's social. There's talking, and it's just everyone's like of a similar mindset. So it's somewhere to go and escape. And I'm never going to grow up. I'm nearly 50 years old outside, but inside I'm still a skateboarding, annoying 18-year-old, as a lot of people will vouch. Um, but yeah, no, it's just a really nice place to escape. And there's young people on there, and there's older people on there, and we're all just looking out for each other mentally and just having fun. And yeah, I mean, but again, the music kind of slipped in there. It's like, okay, I've built myself a massive skyscraper, but in the bottom there's a rock concert. So
Yeah.
I built a drum kit, and it's got to be done.
I think
Never
my
escape the
daughter was
music.
into Minecraft before, but I think she's sort of like doing other online games now. Online, because
Yeah, there's
yeah,
so
yeah,
many, so
yeah.
many.
Well, I asked you before we came on live that rabbit behind you. I think that's just like the horror one, the one with the blood coming out of
Yeah,
its mouth. Because yeah, because you said that you're also into sort of like horror games.
yeah. I mean, not so much horror. Oh, I keep hitting this microphone. Sorry, sound guy. Um, yeah, I mean, I like not so much horror films. I don't mind the odd one or two; they're all right, but they've got a bit boring now. They've got like the stories are always old hat, and the scare is minimal, and it's just like,
Yeah,
oh, let's just stick
predictable.
some,
Yeah, it's just
yeah, throw
predictable.
a strumpet in there and let her. Oh, she's gonna take her top off; it'll be fine. And it's like I hate those. I like the old horror films, not the vintage ones because they were equally bad, but just things that you have to think about. I like that. But games, I love games. I love playing horror games. Oh, I've got itchy nose. Sorry. So like yeah, Silent Hill, Resident Evil. What else you got? Yeah, anything like that. Atmospheric games. That yeah, I love it. I do play a lot of games.
I'm sure you can sort of like incorporate it with your drumming as well.
Yeah.
Doing
Oh
all
yeah. 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 You can. Yeah. I mean, there's some really good game soundtracks. I mean, you know, I mean, Doom, Halo. I mean, there's some really good bands, the Incubus and stuff like that, that have really done
yeah,
some good music towards games. So it's yeah, it's
yeah.
there. You know, I mean, yeah,
Well,
it's immense.
if the June Brides are thinking of sort of like doing a new album, maybe it will sound differently now with you on with you
Well,
on drum.
yeah. I mean, it would whenever any band gets a new member, it sounds different. But it's whether,
Yeah.
yeah, who knows? I mean, that's one thing I haven't done. I mean, I've done the gigs, I've done. I mean, but I've never released anything. Never
Yeah.
released a piece of music with my name on it. So that would be interesting, whether it
Well,
be a
hopefully,
dance
yeah,
composition or drumming or whatever.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that would be a new thing.
Hopefully soon. Yeah, you know, if so, like, because we'll
Yeah.
see. 'Cause I'm sure Phil Wilson is still sort of like thinking of doing gigs and everything. He's not so like retired
Well,
fully
let's
yet.
hope not. Yeah.
It's like,
Let, let's hope there's life in the old dog yet. What? He's so gonna kick me when he sees me.
well, there's still. I know it's nearly 3 o'clock now, but I've still got my regular questions that I wanted
Yeah,
to ask you.
go. Let's go. I've
Well,
rabbited.
first of
What's
all,
talking about?
I have seen you. Like I said, you're very sort of
Yeah.
like powerful and with hair flying all over the place and everything.
It was a
I
bit
don't.
rock star with the fan, I must admit. It
Yeah, I
wasn't my choice.
don't. I don't think I've seen. Do you twirl? Do you twirl sticks when you're playing? I don't think
I would like to, but I can't. No, they kind of twirl as they're flying away, but I can't do the whole "Hey, look at me." No,
Yeah.
none of that. No, no. I
Have
have.
you?
I cannot get blisters now. I've achieved playing no blisters. So
Oh,
the technique's there,
yeah,
but
yeah.
no, I don't
Uh,
mess around
have
with
you
it.
practiced? Have you tried? Maybe.
Yeah, yeah, yes, yes, yes. One would like to say I don't do that showboating. I'm more of a proper drummer. But no, I've practiced many showboating and screwed it up countless times. Crap, another light bulb gone.
No, I just find it. I think it's really amazing when drummers do that, especially sometimes when like there's a gap, and then they're just sort of like waiting, and then they'll sort of like twirl, and then boom,
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, I mean, the, I think Roger Taylor is, he was the king of the simple ones. So he did do clever things, but he just would he'd do something and then just one backward flip as he was bringing his hand up, the stick would just go backwards and he'd
oh
catch it.
yeah.
Just like doot doot, doing, brilliant. I mean, some of the guys on YouTube, they're like, I mean, I watched one guy. He was juggling drumsticks. So he was playing snare. He was playing like a standard rock beat on a five-piece kit, but he had three drumsticks. So he was like one was constantly in the air. So he was drumming and keeping a beat and juggling all at the same time with three sticks. And I turned that off hating him and myself. Some people are just too good. It's not fair.
I don't think if you're so like in a band and you're doing that while you're on stage with the other band members,
I
they
think
probably
there's a
think,
line. I think there's a line. So anything
yeah,
up to here, don't do.
no,
If you're going to drop it or look like you're showing off or anything, don't do it.
don't
Once
do.
you get to this point and you are absolutely perfect at it, then fine, because then it will add to the band. And then, oh wow, look at that guy, he's amazing. Rather than look at that muppet in the back, loving himself. So I mean, there's a brilliant one on YouTube of like this drummer's at the wrong gig, and it's like a really good sort of like fast swing band, And the guy's like doing all this mad stuff, and he's banging his head, and he's going mental. And yeah, it's crazy, but it's so crazy, it's selling it and it's good. But if you just did half that in a normal band,
In the
you
normal.
wouldn't last very long. It's like, hey, look at me. Oh, stop it. You know, the singer's really trying hard to create a moment, and you're at the back going, look at me. Like, no.
Well, next question is drumming heroes. Do you have any sort of
Oh,
like drumming heroes?
right. So heroes came later on. I think at the start I had influences. So the very first obvious influences were um, I'm going to be very ignorant and forget their names, so I'll just say the bands. Dire Straits and Talking Heads was stuff I was starting to try and play. Then we got on to Nick Mason and Pink Floyd.
Yeah,
Um, then I think we went from Nick Mason to Lars Ulrich, which was a bit of a jump for Metallica.
yeah.
Uh, and then I think the next thing I really settled into, I got really into a band called Biohazard that was sort of like a Brooklyn, New York hardcore band. And
Oh, alright.
I got stuck with them for a long time, and just that I was really heavily into playing that.
Yeah.
Um, then I mellowed and matured a bit, got into Rush. Um,
That's more like prog rock, isn't it? That's more
yeah,
so
yeah,
really
went
complicated drum
yeah,
thing.
very much so.
Yeah.
I tried Dream Theater, but they were a little bit too showy. The next major influence was Corn. I got really into Corn.
Yeah.
I liked the early stuff. I liked David Salvera's sort of tribalistic drumming of using the whole kit to like emphasize things rather than just keeping a beat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and now they went on a bit of a wobbly period, Corn. So musically, some of their new stuff isn't as good as some of their old stuff. But and I think now, I think drumming hero, it's a tie between Neil Peart and Danny Carey.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just like,
Um,
do you actually sort of like watch them and then try to sort of
oh
like
yeah, very much so.
copy their style
Yeah,
or like, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'll listen to Danny Carey, and the fact that I mean, with drumming, it's like your hands are doing different things to your feet, but with him, it's like his feet are playing a completely different song to his hands, but then it all goes around and then comes back in time again. And so, no, I mean, I would love to play, but I can't. Neil Peart, I think the reason he's been elevated to hero status is because of the things he's said. Like he's always learning, always practicing, and that it's even at his level, it took him years to master a certain thing. And
Yeah.
I'll never achieve that. I'll never achieve that level of sticking at something. But I admire the hell out of him for being able to do that because he was just another level. You know,
Yeah.
he could play any of the old greats, Dean Cufford, Buddy Rich, right up to anything. I'm sure he could play anything you gave him with
Yeah.
ease.
Do you think anyone can play the drums? Or it's
I
got
think
to be,
anybody can want to.
because I think it's got to be, I always believe that it's got to be in you. It's like a natural thing
Yeah,
in,
I mean, it's hard to point
you don't
out
have
from the
left.
inside. I keep hitting this microphone. Sorry. It's really hard to point out from the inside because you're ignorant to what you know. It's very hard to say, well, do not think like this because you don't know what this is. Um, it's, I suppose, because I've tried three instruments and got one right, something clicked. Excuse me. It's like I can hear a song. Again, I don't sight read, so I'll hear a song, and some people can listen to the song and they can't hear the individual instruments; they can just hear the song.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I can
that's
sit
me.
there and I can just listen to the drums, and then I can then at certain levels just then go and sit down and just play that,
And play.
and I can play along to songs, and if I get it wrong, I still get something that's right. it fits. It's wrong, but it fits. So there's something in my brain which is telling me what either should be there or what could be there that would work. And considering how rubbish I am at math, and I don't count, and I don't read music, a lot works out. A lot does work out, but there's so much that doesn't.
Yeah, it's natural, isn't it? It
It
is
has
for
to
me.
be.
So, yeah, it has to
Yeah,
be.
it has to be. It's like when some people are tone deaf. You know, there's people that can
Yeah,
sing really well with no effort, and there's people that seem to be trying so hard and sounding
and
like they're murdering a cat.
right. Well, next question. What about disasters or accidents? Have you ever had any? So like tried twirling and it just went out, like, or maybe fallen on.
uh, I suppose the most epic sort of like drumming accident like whilst gigging was back in the days when I had quite cheap cymbals and my technique was rough and heavy. I would went to do a and hit a cymbal that had a crack in it and it split my finger open and I
Oh
didn't
no!
notice. And it's like, playing the gig. Da, 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 just, oh, yes, we're doing a Slayer cover, no problem. And before you know it, there is blood everywhere,
Oh
all over
no!
the drum kit, all over my face, flicking it everywhere. But that's it. And the only other injury sustained at all ever was I was carrying a bass drum into a practice room that was dark. It was an industrial unit. I went in there, and as I was carrying it, my hands full, I felt something stick me in the bottom of the throat really hard, and it really hurt. And I backed out, and this massive hornet just flew away, and I went a bit wobbly
Oh,
for a while. But that's it.
oh,
That's it. Out of my entire, however many years of not touring the world and not supporting anybody amazing, those are my amazing stories. No televisions out of windows, I'm afraid. I got
no!
stung by a wasp and I cut my finger.
But also, like drum kits are. I think they're particular to a drummer, isn't it?
As
It's like,
in,
I mean, yeah, you can play any drum kit that's already there on the stage,
you
but there is
can.
like your own that is just particular to you and your
Yeah,
style.
yeah. I mean, I think even if you got two drummers from, I don't know, two different countries that had exactly the same drum kit, brand, make, model, same heads, same arrangement, it would still feel slightly different.
Yeah,
It,
for yeah,
it,
yeah,
but because drums can be so different, and like you get guitars, the strings are slightly too high, they're slightly too low. They're always the same distance apart. If you've got a six string, the neck is always pretty much the same width, and the six strings are always in the same order. Whereas with a drum kit, you could get there, you pick up your supposed six string guitar. Oh, it's only got four strings. Oh, well, then there's this way round. And what? So drum kits, they change. They're different sizes, different arrangements, totally different
yeah.
cymbals. And to sit down and play someone else's can be fun and can be hell. I mean, Glasgow was a three piece, which is a lot smaller than I'm used to.
Yeah.
So I was quite like, okay, this is fine. We can make this work. You know, one has to completely forget all the drum fills you remembered, where you go one over there, two down there, and three over there, because you've got that one and that one. It's like,
Oh,
done.
so how hard it is to like adjust from whatever was
That's
there.
it. You just literally, I suppose you make it up as you go along. I mean, you know what you're supposed to be playing, and you
Yeah,
know what you can't play, so that leaves you with what you can play. And you just, well, I can't do a four tom roll, so I'll just have to do a one tom roll. So instead of going do 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 do, I'll just go or do something else. And you know,
oh,
it's
and then
still
the
a count of
sound.
8 or whatever. So it could be 8 on
Yeah.
anything. So you could just like to get or whatever. As long as it's that pattern, it can be anywhere really.
Oh,
Um,
mm.
so
Oh, that's really
it's
interesting.
like
Yeah.
a jigsaw puzzle. If you get like 15 jigsaw puzzles with all different pictures on, but all the pieces are the same size, you can make a new picture and it will fit, but it will look different. And so it's the whole thing. I'm probably describing it terribly. And
No,
this probably
yeah,
isn't
that's
a
interesting.
rule that works with everything, but with most things, if you forget something, it's like if you drop a stick, or if you're in the middle of a big gig and you've broken a head or a drums fell off or something like that, you can't do what you were meant to do at that split second that you've practiced. So you immediately have to come up with something new to fill the gap. And it has to be exactly the same length and it has to finish on exactly the same hand that it would have done normally. So you can't start with a new hand. You have to start with the same hand and end with the same hand, but somewhere else because that's broken.
Oh my God,
So
no, that's
it's
really
like
interesting.
I suppose
Yeah,
guitarists break strings. So if a guitarist breaks a string in the middle of doing a solo, they know, oh, I can't play anything that's on that string anymore, so I have to adapt and play just on this string. I suppose all musicians do it. It's just
yeah,
drum kits change quite a lot. So, and the sound, you can't sit behind every drum kit and tune it so it's exactly like yours at home because it won't be. It's a different room, it's a different head, it's a different wood, it's a different size.
yeah, yeah.
You have to deal with the sound. You know, you sit. It was amazing at Glasgow. It was the first time I'd ever played on a mic'd up drum kit, and I just put all my stuff on it, and I just went right. Let's just check it's all right. And dum, 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 ooh, ooh. Just for 2 minutes, I was just sat there going, "Oh wow!" It's like, yeah,
No, I guess that's the thing about musicians. They don't get so like I suppose you do get nervous, but
oh,
you
I'm
can
terrible.
always find something. You can always sort of like adjust and make it sound like the way you
Yeah,
practice it, and the
well,
way you
once
want
you're
it to sound.
there, once you like you get nervous, you start a song and then it's gone and you're there. And once you're there, you're in the zone. Anything happens, you're on it. But up to that point, you're a mess. Don't even ask me the time 2 minutes before I'm supposed to do something. I am a mess. Before that Glasgow gig, it took us 15 minutes to walk from the hotel to the gig. 15 minutes before that, I was in bed, shaking, just going, oh my God, oh my God, this is going to be so bad. Oh my God. It was
Oh,
just so much pressure for me. It's like, this isn't playing in a little pub with people who are just so drunk they don't care. This is an actual concert with actual people who have bought tickets with an actual band that's got a name and
it's the
songs and
June brides,
records
yeah.
and fans. It's it's like so it's like, oh yeah, yeah, we've got people coming from Japan. I'm like, oh my God. It's like, flown halfway around the world to see this bearded muppet behind your bean tins. What's he doing? We like the old songs the way they were. What's this? It's like, oh, I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, you did really, really well. I really enjoyed that. So
I
that
loved it.
set, the June Bride set. I think it's absolutely. I think so many people also like. I've heard people say it's like their highlight of the event because they don't play a lot.
No,
They don't do a lot of gigs.
no.
So having them there, I think is just absolutely amazing. I mean, I
It was.
really love Glasgow spot pools.
I wish I could have stayed. So the reason you didn't meet me, I'll fill that in very quickly, is we finished the gig. I literally had time to just say goodbye to a few people, and I had to leave to go back to the hotel because we had to be on the train at 6:30 the next morning to go back down to Devon. So I had to
Oh,
take all. Uh, I had to take half my drum kit, like my cymbals and my poles and my pedals and things, on back on the train with me. 6:30 the next. I had to get on the underground, get to the Glasgow Central, then get to Edinburgh, and then get back down to here.
oh,
So
I didn't know because
I
I'm
wanted
sure.
to stay. I wanted to stay late and see
Yeah,
everybody play and chat and meet people. Basically, it's the whole point of lapping it up, going, "Oh yes, it was wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you." But I couldn't. I had to leave, and so it was
Oh,
just I did it. Bang, done.
but it's, I'm sure Bill Wilson stayed because I was like, I think
He did.
he's
He went the next night as well, I
yeah.
think.
That's
So,
what, I had a photograph with him. It was so like really
uh, I
good.
mean, yeah, I would have loved to have stayed there and just enjoyed it a bit more. I
Yeah.
mean, I'd never experienced the green room before, and I met Stuart Murdoch as well, which was fantastic. And it's just like, oh, he's the guy, hello. And again, not really grew up with Bell and Sebastian, but through Phil, it's just a really nice guy. So I know
Yeah,
him as Stuart Murdoch, not as Bell and Sebastian. So
yeah.
it was great just meeting these people and going, oh yeah, and
Well, I'm
being
the
in that
same.
world.
Yeah, I didn't really know a lot about Bell and Sebastian. I'm trying to sort of like, listen to all the albums now. I bought their albums and stuff. But the first time that year that you were in there, I saw, I didn't even know who you were. I don't even know who he is. My friend said to me, that's Stuart Murdoch. I was like, who? But
Yeah,
now the second year, like last year, I actually sort of like know him and I said, "Oh my god, this."
yeah, he's a really nice guy. I'd love to
Yeah,
meet him
yeah, it
again.
is
He was
very
really great. And Sean,
well, yeah. Well, I've got one more question. Advice
do it.
to aspiring drummers or
Advice
musicians.
to aspiring drummers and musicians. Right. Wow. As a on a technical level, the one regret I have is that I never taught myself or got taught correct drum rudiments. So the building blocks
Yeah,
of the talent, I never learned those. I can play most songs, but the things, the reading the music, the triplets, the double stroke rolls, the triple stroke rolls, the paradiddles, I
paradiddles.
I skipped all of that. And if I want to be Neil Peart or Danny Carey or any of these people, these are things that they do with their eyes closed without thinking about it. And I don't. So it's held me back on an awful lot of things. So advice to aspiring drummers is do the academic if you can. Find ways. If you struggle with a book or a lesson, just find ways of doing the academic. Do it right at the start because it's so hard to do because the one thing you will do is teach yourself bad habits. So try and find if you struggle with doing the academic as it should be done, find ways of doing it so you can still access it and learn the rudiments because it will sort you. And the other
That's
bit is have
yeah, yeah,
fun. Have fun with it.
yeah,
Never make anything a stress. It's always got to be fun. It's like when they teach these instruments in school, it becomes a chore. It becomes not fun because they don't give you the ability to enjoy the instrument. It's almost like history homework. It's like you lose fall out of love with it. So
yeah,
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 find a way of learning it, a way you enjoy, because
yeah,
if you enjoy
yeah.
it, you'll do good.
I totally agree with you in that one. So yeah, that's really, really good. It's got to be fun.
It has to be. It has to be. The second you have to start doing things, and this is the thing with being too famous, second you have to do things, it all falls to pieces. You know.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Simon. So we'll hopefully we look forward to maybe some more the June Bride gigs and
Yeah, let's
maybe
hope
see
so.
you. Yeah, hopefully
Or
see you again
maybe
someday.
I'll be session drumming for another super famous band.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Well, I know you're not on social media. You're not
No.
really
Well, apart from YouTube, but yeah.
yeah, apart from YouTube. But I want to say hello to Sally Ann.
Oh, yes.
'Cause
Yeah.
yeah, because Talian is
Thank you.
on, she's on social media. So if there's anything, I'm sure we'll get to hear, if you're
Yes.
playing something. And
Yes.
hopefully someday I can have a photograph with you because
Oh,
you
absolutely.
don't
Yes.
have to sort of, like rush back to Devon or something.
No. But I do still travel every now and then to go and see certain relatives here and there. So if ever, wherever we are, then yeah, no worries.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Simon. Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Well, hopefully I'll see you again. See you again soon.
Let's hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, you take
Hopefully.
care. Thanks for saying yes to
Mike
us.
Hogo.
Uh,
Oh, not a problem. I'm surprised we managed to find enough to fill it.
no, no, but thank you so much. All right, see ya.
Thank you. Have a
Bye.
good
Bye,
one. Bye,
Simon.
Anne.
Thanks.
Bye.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching us live. That's so amazing. I mean, again, if you're into, he's not just a drummer, but if you're into model railways and something, because I think it's really fascinating. That I'm sure Aiden would love this. I'm gonna add his YouTube channel on the Astro Drummer page so you can have a look. So yeah, thank you so much, Simon. Next week it's gonna be on a Monday instead of a Sunday because I am going somewhere, and also my guest next week, he's not available on a Sunday, so we'll do it Monday afternoon. So do keep an eye out for the guest announcement post on the Astronomer page. But that's it for today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, or in the Philippines, have a lovely week because it's bedtime there now. It's going to be Monday tomorrow, so it's already so like a brand new week for everyone. So thank you all so much. As always, love music, love life, love, love, love drummers. Drummers are absolutely amazing. It's so cool. So I'll see you all again next week. Bye for now. Bye.